SpongeBob Cosmic Shake has 42 costumes in this game, and in this video we're taking a look at every single one. Let me know what your favorite costume is, and without wasting any time, let's dive on in. We kick things off with the classic one, the one that we all know. Yes, this is SpongeBob SquarePants, just the default costume, nothing too major to this one, and yes, you will be seeing Patrick floating in the background, because this is one of the gameplay mechanics in this game. Next, we have the Glove World or the Wacky Child outfit for SpongeBob. This is essentially the exact same costume as we just saw before, but he's got the Glove World hat on, ready to rock and ready to roll. I feel like I should be saying something like yeehaw as I go on ahead and showcase this one, but this is of course the cowboy costume for SpongeBob SquarePants, a very iconic look for sure. And speaking of iconic, you can't get quite more iconic than the Karate Bob or the Karate Chop SpongeBob outfit, who actually does have a unique attack move where instead of using the jellyfish rod, which most of the other SpongeBob costumes use, this one instead karate chops his foes. The next one up is a pirate SpongeBob. He's got the peg leg, the monocle, and of course the really cool outfit to go along with it. Plus, just like the previous suit, this one does have a unique weapon where he uses a pirate hook instead of a jellyfish rod. The next one up is the Employee of the Month SpongeBob, although I feel like he's probably Employee of the Decade at this point. But regardless, he does have a spatula for a weapon instead of the jellyfish rod that most of the other SpongeBobs come with. Next up, we have a Flower SpongeBob. I actually don't know where this one is from. I don't remember the episode that this one appeared in, so if you know, let me know down in the comment section below. I've never seen an episode where he wears a costume like this, but it is present in the game, and he does have what seems like a basket for a weapon instead. The next one is an absolute classic, part of that time-traveling episode that is so iconic. This is SpongeGar looking super duper stylish, although I have to admit, am I the only one that feels like the costume print on this particular character looks like it's a bunch of like Cheeto puffs or cheese puffs on his suit? Next up after that, we have the Bard SpongeBob, or I guess maybe technically you could call him the Jester SpongeBob. He does not actually have any unique weapons, just the jellyfish rod. Next, we have one of my favorites. This is Dutchman Bob, and this is one that you unlock by going on ahead and assisting the Flying Dutchman in one of the mission levels, and then he rewards you with this costume. And next up after that, we have Rainbow Bob, who unfortunately does not have any unique weapons, instead still rocking just the regular jellyfish rod. Next up after that, we have Underwear SpongeBob. Yes, this is an actual costume in this game, and I do wonder what exactly is his weapon, because I can't quite tell. If you know what that item is, let me know in the comment section below. Next, we have Sponge Buck, who is looking very dapper, to say the least. That is for certain. And he does actually go on ahead and get a unique weapon in the form of what I can only describe as a big, giant bag of coins. Next, we have Cuddly Bob, available to be played within the game as he was in the show itself, and no unique weapons for this one either. And then you have Boy Scout Bob, which will actually wrap up the Tier 2 costumes within the game. Kicking off Tier number 3, it is Action Hero Bob, made to look just like the Rambo Sylvester Stallone costume with the red headband, looking super duper stylish for sure. This is one of my favorites. And speaking of favorites, what an iconic costume right here. This is, of course, Ghost SpongeBob, where he went ahead and dressed up like a ghost for the Halloween special episode. And he does have the pumpkin full, I guess, candy collector. What would you call that? Candy bucket to go on ahead and go trick-or-treating. Next, we have Deck Swabber SpongeBob, and this one's pretty cool. I will go on ahead and say there are a lot of pirate sort of inspired costumes in this game. For the next one, he's actually wielding a spoon as his weapon of choice, for this is the Goofy Goober SpongeBob. Yes, like that iconic song that we were all singing at one point or another, you can now go on ahead and play as Goofy Goober SpongeBob. Kicking things off in tier number 4, this is Explorer Bob, who looks like he is straight up out of something like a Jurassic Park style movie, and he does actually have a unique jellyfish rod, different to the other ones that the regular or the majority of the SpongeBob costumes actually utilize. Next up after that, we get a little bit more fantastical with a night SpongeBob looking very, very cool. The attention on detail for this one is incredible, and he does actually utilize a shield as his weapon of choice. Another Halloween or spooky inspired costume is the vampire SpongeBob, who does not have a unique weapon and instead just wields the regular jellyfish rod. The next character actually does have a unique weapon. This is the housemaid Bob, who actually does go on ahead and come along with, I assume it's supposed to be kind of like a duster sort of thing, as a weapon of choice. The next costume is one of the most ridiculous ones in the entire game. This is the Hippie SpongeBob. Groovy, man. Very groovy for sure. That's pretty much all I gotta say when I see this costume. The next SpongeBob is going to be Fisherman Bob, who does, of course, come along with a fishing rod as a weapon. That makes perfect sense. For the next SpongeBob, we're getting very cool, or I guess we're rocking and we're rolling is really what I should be saying, because this is Rocker SpongeBob with one heck of a hairdo ready to rock and roll. And speaking of rock and roll, he does have a guitar as his weapon of choice instead of the jellyfish rod. Next up after that, we have the clown SpongeBob ready to go on ahead and be showcased. A pretty simple outfit, really not much to it. It's pretty much regular SpongeBob, but with a clown's haircut. I actually don't know where this costume was initially introduced, maybe as part of a Halloween episode or something like that, but this is Elf Bob. Kind of obviously reminds me a little bit of a Legend of Zelda sort of aesthetic for this one, and he does actually have his wooden sword as a weapon. This is a little bit of SpongeBob video gameception because this is Rehydrated Bob, aka SpongeBob as he was seen in the Rehydrated remake for the SpongeBob video game. We've seen a lot of sort of Halloween inspired suits, and this is probably the biggest one of them all because this is Skeleton Bob. He does not have any unique weapons, but boy oh boy, this is definitely a memorable look. Next up after that, we have the Wizard SpongeBob, which again, I don't actually remember any episode where this one appeared, but if you know which one, let me know down in the comments section below. And this one also actually wields a guitar as the weapon of choice. This is a very classic look for SpongeBob, for this is the Jellyfish Hunter. He has his classic fishing rod available for this one, and of course, those very, very cool looking glasses. Hey, do you remember when SpongeBob was a lifeguard? Yep. Well, guess what? You can actually go on ahead and play as that version of SpongeBob inside of SpongeBob Cosmic Shake. Next up after that, we have a Biker Bob, which again, I don't ever remember SpongeBob joining a biker gang, unless if that was in one of the SpongeBob movies. But if you remember that, let me know down in the comments section below. He does look pretty cool. No unique weapons, unfortunately, for this one. And then if you love superheroes, you will definitely be a fan of this costume because this is obviously a take on SpongeBob as the Flash, looking very, very cool. But this one is known as the Quickster SpongeBob. So that actually concludes the main suits in the game. Those were 35 costumes that we've just taken a look at. However, that's not all, because there are a few more that are bonus suits. Let's take a look at those, shall we? So the next 7 costumes are actually downloadable content, part of a costume pack. We kick things off with the purple sponge, who looks like he is pretty much completely overtaken by a bunch of like barnacles or some sort of jelly, I suppose, and no unique weapon for this one. The next one is one of the most iconic looks for SpongeBob, and that is the band uniform SpongeBob. Of course, a very, very iconic look from the show, and I think even one of the movies. He does not have any unique weapons, unfortunately. And speaking of iconic, this was one of my favorite episodes, which was Opposite Day, where SpongeBob went ahead and pretended to be Squidward for the entire thing. This was definitely a very memorable one. I don't need it is what people are going to be saying when they want to go on ahead and add this one to their collection, because this is the dried out SpongeBob. The next SpongeBob suit is actually a boss fight in a previous SpongeBob video game. If you know which one, let me know down in the comment section below. That will be a good little challenge for some of you. But it is pretty much like a mechanized Robo Karate Bob, who goes on ahead and obviously uses the karate chop animation we previously saw. And interestingly enough, as you can see, this one doesn't even have legs. He uses jet boosters like he's Iron Man or something. And last but certainly not least, we have Mermaid Man SpongeBob, which once again, of course, is a bit of an homage to Aquaman. So there you have it, guys. Those were 42 costumes showcased from the SpongeBob Cosmic Shake video game. That is every suit that you can unlock within this game. Let me know if you guys enjoyed the video by hitting the thumbs up button, and of course subscribe if you haven't yet. Check out all the other content on the channel, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye everybody.